What's going on, guys? It's Greg from East Coast Eyes, and today we have a new review for you. This is a brand new company and a brand new head, the Lax Clone. So the big innovation here is in how it's strung. But first, let's just talk about it as just the Lacrosse head. So this is a brand new company. Like I mentioned, I haven't seen them put out. This is their first head, at least. They have a couple other products on their site, and it's 5lax.com, which, as opposed to a logo, which most companies do, they went right ahead and put the website right on the throat, which I love. It's like, this is where you're getting this thing. Hop right over here, 5lax.com, right there on the throat. Hopefully they don't change their domain name, because that would be a pain to change on the head. Looking at it, it's 89 bucks for the unstrung head, standard price, and then the strung head, which we're going to talk about the string innovation in a little bit, is only $99. And the head stringing innovation is basically it's making it faster. So my thought is that they're only able to make it $10 more expensive because they're saving a lot on labor to get these things strung up. So 90 bucks for the unstrung, 100 bucks for the strung version. Looking at weight, they have it listed on the website at 5.2 ounces. I weighed it on our scale at 5.18, so dead on there, 5.2 ounce head, a touch over that 5 ounce mark, but it does come with a good bit of stiffness. It's a pretty stiff head, which I really like, and maybe the fact that it doesn't have actual string holes is helping out with that, but it is pretty stiff. Simple two-strut design, simple throat design, nothing crazy. It's a pretty tight face shape, right? It resembles a more offensive face shape, and then it kind of has really angular lines, so you can see it's not gradual. It just kind of hits this and flares out very quickly and then juts back in. So first head, just like our Mirage, it takes some time to get all that stuff dialed in, but functionally, tight face shape, probably an offensive head, but stiff enough to play defense or two-way midi if you're okay with that tight face shape. Cool little feature is the ball stop is rubber, but it's not actually stuck in there like a sticker. It like pops out and has little notches that click into the head. It seems pretty tight, so I don't see it getting loose on the field, but just a nice little touch there. So let's dive into what's really different about this head, which is the stringing. So as opposed to traditional holes and sidewall string, what you've got here is basically little pegs and a securing string. And so the thought here is that rather than have people learn all these complicated knots, you're just gonna wrap the mesh around these pegs and the string is gonna hold it in place. So it sort of forms the look and feel of what stringers would know as an SI, where the knot goes around the sidewall and kind of mesh lays flat, which is nice. It's a really nice feel, and I like that for stringing. So you've got all these pegs, they've got them individually numbered, 1 through 20. The last one's not numbered. Maybe they just wanted to stop on an even number. I'm not really sure. The top string has pegs, which I think are designed for a 10 diamond top string. And you've got this red string that is a little elastic and runs down the sidewall and around. You can see in the strung one here how that is going to hold the mesh in place. And so this is actually a very similar system to what STX just released with their beginner head. So you can see STX has the same thing. These pegs, a lot fewer of them, but the same exact concept, clips on the scoop. STX, because I guess it's a beginner stick, didn't put any string to secure it. And they probably tested it, but with beginner kids, they're probably not coming loose. I think since this head is maybe designed for more advanced players, beginner through advanced, the string is gonna make sure that mesh stays on. So on the website, they claim that you can string this up in 5 minutes. It takes me about 10 minutes to string one of our elite pockets, top string, sidewalls, shooters, bottom string, the whole thing. So I am right now going to string this for the first time ever, never strung one before, so it might be a little bit of a learning curve, and see how long it takes me. All right, Pat, start the clock. Okay, so I think they said it's a 10 diamond top string. So I've got to look at this probably. And time. All right, just strung it up. My total time was 8:43, which is pretty good. So it was definitely faster than me stringing a traditional stick with sidewalls and everything. And for the fact that I've never done this method before, that's pretty quick. And especially considering that I string a regular head with sidewall strings much faster than your average person, probably twice as fast. this is significantly faster, and I can see how it would be easier for a beginner to learn. And it was also pretty easy to transfer the pattern. A lot of times I find myself counting the holes, because with 20 or 30, it's easy to lose count and miss one, and some people end up with uneven sidewalls. I really like that peg numbering system, because I could just quickly look at the one that was done or the other side and just match the peg number up and make sure I was on the right peg. It was very simple. So the pocket that I strung without thinking about it too hard, I think I actually did something very similar to what they have. It's pretty nice. It's a mid pocket, and because it's such a narrow head to begin with, and you're doing SIs, which is laying the mesh flat on the outside, as you can see. It is a nicely channeled pocket. Like, it looks pretty nice, and I think it would throw really smooth. It would have good hold. That face shape is helping a ton. That was really smart by them. So a couple things to note. Like I said, it's faster. It's easier to transfer a pattern, easier for a beginner to learn because those knots are kind of complicated. I think one thing I noticed is that this top string is pretty loose. When I do a top string, it's much easier to pull it really tight with knots. Just stretching the mesh with your hands, it's a little harder to get it tight. So I noticed that on mine. I noticed that on theirs, is that this area up at the top and in the corners is pretty loose, just because it's a 10 diamond, which is you know, the way I've done it with the 3 pegs. And it's harder to get it totally tight without the strings. So you are able to compensate by pulling the mesh down and making a slightly tighter channel. But I think over time, you'd probably see this get a little bit loose. And that's the other thing too, is it was hard to pull it down really far. Some people do like a really tight channel, and just with my fingers trying to yank the mesh down, when you do a knot, an overhand knot, which is what we'd use to make our channels, you're able to use that string to really get a lot of leverage, and you can get it really tight. So I could see as this breaks in, it becoming pretty loose up here at the top and losing its channel. I think it is tough to get it quite as tight with this method. But like I said, I love the SIs because they did so many pegs. It was smart that you were able to bunch them here at the bottom and get that really nice pocket depth. Only other complaint is they've only got 2 bottom string holes. The bottom string and the shooters are the part you do like a normal stick. Would have loved to have seen 4. It just helps. I like to do a double loop. That's a nitpicky thing. 2 is gonna work just fine. So overall, I think that if you're a super elite player, loves a really tight pocket, loves a really tight channel, I'm not sure this is for you, but obviously this technology might be more tailored toward beginners or mass production heads. And I think for that, it's gonna be less wear and tear on your fingers once you get used to the pattern. It's going to be quicker to string. I think over time, as long as this little red bungee string doesn't end up breaking or coming loose, I don't see the mesh coming off these pegs. They're pretty wide and they're pretty tight. I know a lot of people are going to have questions about the durability of this peg since it's kind of hanging out freestanding. I think that'll have to be tested through field testing. I can't really test that here, but I'd be interested to see how these pegs hold up over time, because if you start breaking pegs off, it's not going to be great. But it feels like a sturdy head. It feels well done. So overall, I love the creativity here. I love people continuing to reimagine how stringing should be done, how they can make it more accessible, easier to teach. And as the game grows, both in the United States and new hotbeds internationally, that stuff's really important to think about. So let me know in the comments what you think of this head, what you think of this concept, if you're going to try it out. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't, and have a great day.